Hello friends, I'm Vidisha and I will be conducting today's session for you. Our topic for today is sentences. Now you've already done sentences yesterday, haven't you? What we are going to do today is recap what we did yesterday. We'll also practice what you learned within exercises, followed by classification of sentences on the basis of their structure, how they are formed. So let's quickly go through what we did yesterday. What is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. That's right. A sentence names someone or something and tells us what that person or thing is or what it does. For example, Sam went to the store. So what is this sentence telling us? It's telling us that Sam did the action of going to the store. And it's a complete sentence. It conveys the complete meaning. So what is a fragment? A fragment is a group of words that do not express a complete thought. For example, spent hours in gift shops. The question arises, who spent hours in gift shops? So therefore, this is incomplete. It does not express a complete thought. So it's a fragment as opposed to a sentence. Now you must remember that a sentence always begins with a capital letter and it must always end in a, yes, that's correct, a punctuation mark, whether it is full stop or question mark or an exclamatory mark, as the case may be. Now let's look at the kinds of sentences. Sentences may be declarative sentences. Now these are also called assertive sentences. Or they could be questions, that is, interrogative sentence. Imperative sentence is also a type of sentence, followed by the exclamatory sentence. Let's take a quick look at which type of sentence is what. What is a declarative sentence? Yes, a declarative sentence makes a statement. It ends with a full stop. For example, the house will be built next year, full stop. So what are we trying to convey? We're just making a statement that the house will be built next year. The next type is the interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence asks a question and it must always end in a question mark. For example, how was the party? हम ये सवाल पूछ रहे हैं कि पार्टी कैसी थी. Therefore, we'll end it with a question mark. The next type is the exclamatory. An exclamatory sentence shows strong feelings. That's correct. Are these strong feelings just positive? No, these could also be negative. For example, you may say, "Oh no, what have you done?" That's also an exclamatory sentence, as opposed to, "Wow, this is great," which is a positive exclamatory sentence. Now remember, such a sentence must always end with an exclamatory mark. The next is the imperative. Now an imperative sentence gives a command, or you may even make a request. For example, Radha, try the other door. So what are you doing here? You are commanding Radha to try the other door. Sometimes the subject of an imperative sentence is understood. That is, you don't speak the word you. You just say, look in the closet. So the word you is understood. Now let's practice a little bit. I'll speak something and you have to guess whether it's a sentence or not. Let's start with the first one. My family visited many places this year. My family visited many places this year. Do you think this is a sentence? Yes, it's a sentence. Why? Because it makes complete sense, doesn't it? Correct. Let's move on to the next one. Going to the house. Going to the house. Yes, those of you who are saying this is not a sentence but a fragment, you're correct. Why? Because going to the house, who is going to the house? Right? So going to the house does not convey the complete meaning. Therefore, it's a fragment. The next one is make things by hand. Do you think this is a sentence or a fragment? Make things by hand. Yes, it's a fragment. It doesn't make complete sense by itself. It requires something else to be added. For example, if we said Radha makes things by hand, then it would be a complete sentence. But here it's just makes things by hand. So it is a fragment. Let's look at the next sentence. Machines change people's lives. Machines change people's lives. Correct. It's a sentence. It makes complete sense by itself. Let's look at the next one. I love to watch movies. I love to watch movies. Yes, it's a sentence because once again, this makes complete sense. There is a verb, there is a subject, and the sentence conveys the meaning completely. Let's do some more practice. Now this time, I'll be speaking something out and you have to guess which type of a sentence this is. You also have to add the correct punctuation mark towards the end of this sentence. So open your workbooks and get started with this exercise. Let's go on to the first one. What kind of candy do you like? What kind of candy do you like? Which type of a sentence is this? And don't forget to add the correct punctuation mark in the end. Right, let's move on to the next one. Go get the paper off the porch. Go get the paper off the porch. Right, the next one is wow, you did great. Wow, you did great. And the last one is I love to watch old movies. I love to watch old movies. So did you get them right? Let's check. The first sentence was, what kind of candy do you like? What have you answered? If you've answered interrogative, you're correct. Because here we are asking a question with the help of the word what. What kind of candy do you like? And what will come at the end of this sentence? That's right, a question mark. What kind of candy do you like? Question mark. Let's look at the next sentence. Go get the paper off the porch. That's right, it's an imperative sentence. We are commanding somebody to go get the paper off the porch. And have you noticed how the subject you is just understood? You don't have to speak it. You don't have to say, you go get the paper off the porch. That might sound very rude. Instead, you can say, go get the paper off the porch. The next sentence was, wow, you did great. And this is an exclamatory sentence. This has to end with an exclamation mark because you are exclaiming out of joy. You're saying, wow, you did great. Now remember, words such as wow, oh no, hey, these are hints that they are used for exclamation. Let's move on to the last sentence now. I love to watch old movies. I love to watch old movies. This is a declarative sentence and must end with a period, that is, full stop. I'm sure most of you got all of these right. Now, I know that it's very easy by this stage for you to make simple sentences. Now, we did say that when you're in doubt, use simple sentences. But just imagine, all your life, can you just speak like the cat sat on the mat? I am Ram. You are fine. I am all right. No, that would not make you a very fluent speaker, would it? So today, what we're going to try and do is start forming better sentences. Now, instead of saying, the cat sat on the mat, can we say something else? Let's try, the tired cat sat on the mat. How does that sound? Better, doesn't it? Why? Because it tells you that the cat was tired and then sat on the mat. Somehow this sentence makes more meaning come alive, doesn't it? Instead of just saying, the cat sat on the mat. Suddenly, you also feel sympathetic for the cat because of the word tired. So see how one word can trigger off various responses in the listener. And this is what you want to achieve. You want to be able to express yourself clearly. Let's look at some other options. The cat, which was wet and bedraggled, sat on the mat. What does the word bedraggled mean? Bedraggled means very untidy, almost like you've stepped out of the bed after sleeping. So when we say the cat which was wet and bedraggled sat on the mat, what happens? You can instantly picture a cat which is wet, looking very untidy, looking bedraggled, isn't it? See how beautifully you're able to convey yourself. Let's look at another example. The old cat, which was wet and bedraggled, sat on the dusty rug in front of the fire. The old cat, which was wet and bedraggled, sat on the dusty rug in front of the fire. See how beautifully a scene is coming to your mind. Where there is an old cat, you can already visualize the cat being old, sitting wet and bedraggled on a dusty rug in front of the fire. You get a warm feeling, you try and understand what is being spoken much better than if you just heard the cat sat on the mat. It makes a world of difference, doesn't it? So in these examples, the sentence has been extended by qualifying the noun. What are the nouns here? The nouns are cat. The next one is mat. Yes. And in the last sentence that we made, there was another noun. Correct. It's fire. And what's the verb? It is sat. Now what we've done is we have qualified either the nouns or the verb or both. And that has helped to make the sentence much more meaningful, and it has brought the picture very clearly to our mind. The nouns and the verbs have been qualified with descriptive words or phrases, haven't they? For example, we have qualified the word cat with the help of tired in the first example. So we said the tired cat sat on the mat. So we have qualified the noun cat. In the next example, we said the cat which was wet and bedraggled. So which two words have been used to qualify the cat? Correct, wet and bedraggled. Sat on the mat. So far we have not qualified the word mat. We've only qualified the noun sat with the help of the words wet and bedraggled. Let's look at the third example. The old cat. So here we've qualified the cat with the word old. Then we've qualified the same word cat with wet and bedraggled. Sat on the dusty rug. So we've even qualified the rug or the dari, जिसके ऊपर बिल्ली बैठी थी. And then we move forward to say in front of the fire. And we have added this phrase in front of the fire. So out of the three options that we've mentioned, which one sounds the best? Correct, it's the third one. The old cat, which was wet and bedraggled, sat on the dusty rug in front of the fire. Because here we have qualified cat, we have also qualified the rug, and we've added the phrase in front of the fire. You can also similarly improve your sentences tremendously by trying out the same things. Right, friends, we're now going to move on to something called subjects and predicates. I'm sure you've heard these terms at some point in time, but a lot of you may not be clear about what they exactly are and what they do. So let's try and achieve this clarity today. What is a subject? Subject is the naming part of the sentence. The subject tells you who or what the sentence is about. For example, if we say, my friend Mark loves to write. So who are we talking about? Mark. So Mark is who the sentence is about. Therefore, Mark is the subject. Clear? Okay. Let's move on to predicate. Predicate is the telling part of the sentence. The predicate tells you what the subject is doing or has already done. For example, in the same sentence, my friend Mark loves to write. Mark, of course, is the subject. Now, what is the predicate? The predicate is love, because predicate love tells you what Mark does. Mark loves. What does he love to do? He loves to write. What are complete subjects and predicates? Let's take a look at this, because you must have heard of the term complete subject and main subject. So let's go in detail as to what this is. The complete subject includes all the words that name who or what the sentence is about, while the simple subject is the main word or the words in the complete subject. For example, the empty glass fell onto the floor. What is the simple subject here? Yes, the simple subject is glass, because mainly we're talking about the glass. But if we were to name